Alright guys, what's up? It's Iceman, and today I've got a knife review for you. I'm reviewing the Spyderco Chaparral. This is the bladeforum's passaround Chaparral, and I am one of the, I think, closer to the end of people that's receiving this knife. So it's been through some use, and I've had it for about a week now. I've been carrying it pretty much every day as either a primary EDC or a backup, and I really like this little knife. I mean, it's small. It's definitely not very big. You're talking, you know, it's like basically what I would think of the Sage 1's little brother. It's quite small. I mean, it fits in your hand decent. I have medium-sized hands, and you can see I can barely get that pinky on there, so it's not a very big knife. But you do have this choil up here if you want to choke up on the knife a little bit, and that kind of gives you a full grip, and that's actually really nice for cutting. So, you know, Spyderco lists this as one of their Gentelman folders. And I think that's a really accurate description for this knife. If I were to think of, you know, what I would use this knife for, I would think as a gentleman's folder, and I did. I actually carried this to a wedding, carried this to church one Sunday. Makes it for a really nice gentleman's folder. It's really lightweight, and it's got a nice deep carry pocket clip, so it's really discreet. And I love the Spyderco wire clip. It's actually a really good clip in my opinion. It kind of looks like a paper clip. But it's a really good clip. Works really well. It's got good retention, but it doesn't shred your pockets. It's actually one of my favorite designs for a pocket clip. I've had it on a few Spydercos and really like it. So you got an S30V blade here. You know, your lockback design. That's actually actually two things I don't like about this knife. We'll get those out of the way first, then we'll talk about what I do like. I don't like lockbacks. Not a huge fan of that design of lock, but I did find a pretty nifty little way to manipulate this knife with my middle finger. I kind of, you know, that way I could still open it and close it one-handed. I would release the lock back here with my middle finger and then kind of push the knife down with that finger. One thing I will say is this knife does open pretty smooth for being a lock back. Usually you get that resistance, but it flicks right open, and it takes a good flick, but that spidey hole is nice and big. I mean, you can get your thumb in there pretty well, and it flips real nicely. So really, I like this knife a lot. The other thing I don't like is the type of carbon fiber that Spyderco uses on a lot of their knives, similar to the Sage and the Gale Bradley. What I do like is it's grippy, but it's really not carbon fiber. It's like a carbon fiber, like a little sheet of carbon fiber over G10. It's not really, I think it's what they call peel ply carbon fiber maybe. Compared to like this is like a laminate carbon fiber, so it's real shiny. You know, you get that smooth texture, and it's real shiny. Carbon fiber, like on my ZT560 and my Benchmade Mini Onslaught, it's just a much nicer carbon fiber. So that's my only two things I didn't like about this knife was the lockback design. It's not my favorite, and that's nothing really against this knife. That's just all lockbacks. And the carbon fiber, I mean, it looks good, but it feels, you know, it's kind of grippy, which is nice. But it just after experiencing nicer carbon fiber on knives, you know, this isn't up there with that. So, but they do keep the cost down that way. Made in Taiwan, in the Taichung factory, which makes really good Spydercos. I mean, they make the Spyderco Southern Flipper, the Gale Bradley, the Sage series. I think it's actually some of the best knives come out of Taichung. So no negative points for that. What I did like about the knife is it's small. It's really lightweight. Weighs about 2.2 ounces, I believe, 2.3 ounces, and it's very thin. It's got a very thin profile. That's one thing I really liked about it. So for its intended purpose of a gentleman's carry knife, it's a very well designed knife. I mean, it fits that bill almost perfectly, in my opinion. The blade stock is really thin. I mean, look how thin this edge is on this. That is just a really, really thin edge. So it makes a really good slicer. I really like that about the knife. S30V, it stayed sharp. When I got the knife, it was very sharp. And I'm just going to grab some foam book paper here to kind of demonstrate. So this knife's been used by a few members. I don't believe it's been sharpened. I know it's been stropped maybe, but that's about it. And it's still razor sharp. I mean, this is not a brand new knife out of the box, and it's slicing through that paper. So it's a really good slicer because that thin blade, and it's held its edge very well. S30V steel, It's a really good steel, good edge retention, not too hard to sharpen either. So I haven't even done anything to this knife. I just used it. I haven't sharpened it, I haven't stropped it. I've used it for quite a bit of activities. I've used it for, your typical EDC activities like opening letters, packages. I've cut a pizza with it. So using my pizza cutter, I actually cut a whole pizza with this little knife. Did a great job in that. And I primarily carried it as a backup EDC. What I liked about it too, that's another thing on my like list, is it's really nice backup EDC. I like carrying larger blades. So this is kind of small on the small end, but it's a good secondary EDC, and it's especially good if you're in like a public place, restaurant. You don't want to whip out your big 4-inch knife, 4-inch blade. You can go ahead and just take this little guy to your pocket, and it'll do the job nicely, and it's not threatening. I like that about it. I carried it in either my coin pocket of my jeans, which it fits real nicely in there, or actually in my back pocket. And because it's so thin and slim, it fits really well in your back pocket. So definitely a cool little knife. Here's just a little size comparison for you to another Gentleman's folder that I got, the CRKT Eros. So you can see that the Sage is quite a bit shorter than the Eros, but the Eros is quite a bit thinner. Side-by-side comparison there. Quite a bit thinner. So, you get your trade-offs. The Eros is also lighter, but I'll tell you the one thing I didn't like about this knife, and I actually just sold this knife, so it's going to be shipped out tomorrow, is the pocket clip design is horrible on it. And it's tip up only, or tip down, excuse me. Not a fan of that, but it doesn't retain well, and it shows a ton of the knife. And for a gentleman's knife, you kind of want it to be discreet and kind of hidden away. So definitely would pick the Chaparral over the Eros as a gentleman knife any day. Another knife that I want to compare it to is the Boker Nano. And this is a custom, well, not a custom Nano, but it's just a Nano with a carbon fiber scale, and you probably saw my video on that. So it's quite a bit bigger than the Nano. The Nano's quite a bit smaller knife, but the nice thing is on the Chaparral, it's actually probably about half an ounce lighter than the Nano. And this even has the carbon fiber scale, which makes it even lighter than the regular production one. And look forward to this knife, because I think I'm going to be giving this one away. I think I'm going to be doing my giveaway. My next video after this is probably going to be a giveaway video, and I'm probably going to be giving away this knife with the carbon fiber scale included and the original scale, and possibly another scale by Gator Scales, carbon fiber as well, and probably a little neck knife. I'll do a separate video, official video for the contest, but keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming soon. So just wanted to give a quick overview. Like I said, this is the pass-around knife from Blade Forums. If you haven't participated in a pass-around, I definitely recommend it. It's a really cool way to check out a knife. I've always been interested in this knife, and I got to basically try it out for the cost of shipping. I get to shipping and insurance to the next guy, and that's all it cost me, and I got to use it for a week, and I got to really play around with it. And honestly, I'm probably going to buy one of these, because I really like it for a gentleman's folder and a backup EDC. I'm probably going to be picking one of these up. I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for a good deal on the exchange on one. That's kind of how I like to buy my knives usually. I haven't bought a new knife actually off a website for a long time. So anyhow, just a quick overview of the Spyderco Chaparral. Again, really like the little knife. Really solid contender for a gentleman's folder. Liked it better than the CRKT. I've actually carried the Boker as a gentleman's folder also, and it does a good job. It's a little bit heavier than this, and this is like almost ideal weight for that roll. It's 2.3 ounces, very lightweight. So it's a great little knife in a small package, and nothing else I can really say about it this time. So I'm just gonna sign off for now. If you have any other questions or comments on the knife or any of the other knives listed, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.